Hey everybody, welcome to Australia. My name is Tom March. I'd like to use this short video as a way to introduce you to a new web-based learning activity that I posted online for you and your students. I hope you enjoy it. As the calendar rolls around to November, it's natural for teachers and classroom students to think about Thanksgiving. And it's often nice to engage students in a holiday-related activity. But by high school, it's time to look a little bit deeper and look in maybe some different perspectives. So with that, let's think about moving beyond the traditional to recall that Thanksgiving itself was created as a national holiday in 1863 in the midst of the Civil War, and the proclamation was one approach to unite the country. These days, if we're not in a civil war, we're certainly in an uncivil set of disputations. So why don't we think about a new way to look at the Thanksgiving holiday in our own particular context? And that's the background behind this new activity that I've created called Giving Thanks in Divisive Times, which is an interactive, reflective writing activity. In every lesson, I try to make it what I call the new 3 R's, more real, rich, and relevant. And that's not often very difficult to do. So we make it more real by focusing on what's going on today, not only the mythological kind of Thanksgiving. We enrich it by looking at some web links that provide new insights, and we make it relevant to students, their views, their values, and their insights by making it reflective and also by focusing on their particular issues and what they'd like to focus on. So it really is about the students. So why do we use an insight reflector that we'll take a look at shortly? Well, one, because gathering links can take time. So providing those lets you focus the students on the writing and the insights themselves rather than searching around. And because reflective writing isn't often practiced, breaking it down into a scaffolded approach can help. And the same with the writing. It's a different structure, unlike what they might be used to. And finally, teachers and students are so busy, but if we could use a lesson plan or two to have a new twist on Thanksgiving, let's do it. So let's take a look at this insight reflector. You can see that it's a web page where we've got links within the document, a link to a rubric for the students to guide themselves, and then a teacher guide as well. And the animated graphic already starts to set up the idea of what the theme is. Students can use this page independently or with your guidance. All they need to do is to work through the page. The introduction, it helps students generate this notion of the sides, the polarity that we're experiencing in our lives nowadays. And we've got a link to a video right here, so an embedded video is there. And we help students with some prompting and scaffolding, and then ultimately suggest that they could look at some additional information if they would like. The students put their paragraph in here, could be as long or as short as you like. So once that first perspective is established, then we want students to look at it from a different perspective. So this is where we bring in the idea of Thanksgiving itself and look at why it was first set up in the proclamation of President Lincoln. But then moving quickly beyond those things that students may be familiar with to the new area we'd like them to explore. And that's this idea of the benefits of expressing gratitude, appreciation, and thanks. And so there's some links provided for that. And again, we can go as deep or just casually skimming through that as you think is important and as you have time for. Ultimately guiding the students to a second phase of the reflective writing where they revisit that first instance, but now explore it with an idea that if they had used more of the expression of gratitude, how that could have come out differently. And then we try to narrow that comparison of two scenarios into boiling down into a universal truth. And the students are then suggested to do that in this last paragraph of the body. If you would like, you could have that focus on a principals report that have identified increased contentiousness and incivility that they're seeing at their schools because of the political environment we find ourselves in. So it could take that specific turn if the students are needing or liking that twist, or they could simply find a truth on their own. And then finally, in a reflective writing, we want students to highlight the twists and turns that they went through in exploring the topic, because their thinking and the course of their thinking is what's really valuable. When students have finished moving their way through the page and filling out each text section, they can give their essay a title, add their name, and then simply click on the Reflect My Insights button, which generates their work to a single page with headings, and they're prompted to copy that information and put it into a document if they're happy with it, or they could simply go back and maybe they've noticed some things they'd like to change. Once, whenever you see your text all together, you often see things that you'd like to make different, maybe some typos or some big ideas you'd like to change around. So they could simply go through, make changes anywhere in here, move back down to the bottom, click on Reflect My Insights, and those changes would be reflected here. So that's it. It's really a simple way to engage students with real, rich, and relevant learning in a way that's scaffolded and helps you help them. Thanks a lot. Cheers.